Happy Facebook Live Wednesday. Today, believe it or not, is my 50th Facebook Live. It's been crazy. I never would have imagined me doing this, but parenting, as many of you know, is my journey. It's my passion. And I've come across so many of us who are struggling. And I have researched pandemic parenting. There is actually, as you know, this pandemic has caused parenting challenges, and I like to prepare parents as the forever changing new normal continues to overwhelm us, continues to make us feel like failures. And of course, the stress on top of raising your kids the right way, monitoring their devices, right? Are they over playing video games? Are they not focusing or lacking motivation in academics? Are they surviving in, messy rooms? Yes, I have witnessed, oh my gosh, it's like a hurricane, right, has gone through your child's room. No matter how old they are, whether they're 3 or say 19, it's hard because you feel like you must motivate them. You must get them to do take the right actions, discipline, just be the best that they can be, right? So how can we do this without sounding like a nagging parent, without putting our fears on our kids? Because you know that your kids feel your energy. When you're panicking and you're operating out of fear instead of faith, then they can feel it. And I've had kids say, Corona has changed our lives. Or, I don't like the in-school, the hybrid learning, or even the physical class learning. Because when they're in their classes, right, they have their masks. They have, some of the teachers have shields on. There's a huge distance between everyone. Well, it might not seem huge, but enough where the kids sometimes don't feel comfortable even talking to their next door neighbor, right? Or they feel that they can't understand the teacher, whether it's in person or whether it is via, your virtual classroom. And I guess some teachers are holding virtual, classes while holding in-class lessons. So can you imagine being a teacher? You're a teacher. You have to handle your little 20 squares who are students who don't want to be in class, right, physically. And you have other kids who are in the classroom, and the kids virtually don't feel like they really have the teacher's attention. So as a parent, right, we're constantly reminding our kids, right? You got to wash your hands. You have to wear your masks. And then you question whether things are safe to use, right? My eldest, Sabrina, and I bought whole bean coffee. And I said, why don't we just grind it at Costco? And she's like, you don't even know how sanitary it is. And I was like, okay, so do we buy, a coffee grinder? So little things add up to challenges that you never would have imagined, right? So how have we celebrated birthdays? How has the lack of socialization affected your mental state as well as your kids' mental state, right? Our bedtime routines. I know a lot of parents have been just more lenient, and then others are more rigid. I know you have virtual classes tomorrow, but you need to be in bed by 8. And the kid is like, I'm not even going to go to school physically, so why am I going to be in my pajamas? Or I'm not even mentally going to be there, because on the side, they might be texting or they might be playing video games, and they have multiple screens, right? Kids are very tech savvy, and you can make them sit in front of that laptop, but you cannot make them really digest, comprehend, and do the work. I'm literally teaching kids who share with me, you know what, this is useless, it's stupid, I'm not learning in class or out because they don't want to. Hey John, thanks for joining. We're talking about pandemic parenting and how a lot of us are operating out of fear and There's a lot of guilt in it. A lot of parents are saying, I don't know how to teach fractions. I don't know how to do the academics. And my child or grandchild or niece or nephew are saying, you don't know, that's not how we do it. That is not how we do it. Don't even help me. Or, you know what? I don't need your help, right? There's a lot of arguing. There's a lot of, the focus is not on academics, and it shouldn't be. Pandemic parenting, there's no right or wrong, but there are certain things that will help this phase that we're going through, right? I'm calling it the forever changing new normal, because we had the new normal start, right, last May, towards the end of, actually started after spring break, right? We celebrated our first year anniversary. It's like, this is a stay-at-home order started last March. And then all of a sudden, a lot of kids are like, we don't even know what happened. Fourth quarter, we have no idea what happened. I did not learn anything. And I always say, and it doesn't matter. I mean, how many of us have really checked out mentally when we were in school? Did it impact you? Probably not. You thought it did. Your parents were worried. My dad, who, received a lot of military awards. He worked 20 years at Pearl Harbor as a civilian, won awards there. Guess what? I found a senior report card. A lot of F's and D's and 2 A's in art, and I think wood shop or some kind of hands-on kinesthetic class. And did it prevent him from succeeding in life? No. So when the news, the media always, they seem to be saying your kids during the pandemic, they're academically, they will never catch up, right? As a former special ed teacher, right, and I tutor special ed kids, I tutor gifted kids, I tutor kids from all academic backgrounds. And the pandemic will not hinder their academic potential or progress. But you know what is hindering them? It is the pressure. And I've done it too. I'm guilty of, did you do your homework? My daughter was 20 minutes late to her LCC class because she woke up late. So I'm practicing, what I'm preaching, but it is hard. Did you set your alarm? Oh, my phone shut off. Want to get an alarm clock? That doesn't work. And then you realize, okay, this is not my journey. If my child needs to fail in order to learn, we have to embrace the gift of failure. You're like, what? Embrace failure? Yes, it is the new, if you can call it that, the new parenting. It's actually a new mindset, because all of us want to succeed. We want our kids, right? You see, my child got in such and such school and then got 10 scholarships, and we always, right? And I've been guilty of that. My daughter graduated from Pepperdine, and my daughter did this and this. But really, what makes a big difference? Showing our kids unconditional love, despite the grades, despite the so-called failures that they're experiencing. I'm going to be vulnerable. My daughter, who's 19, works at Times, was suspended. She was $50 short. And so they suspended her. But this is what happened. They suspended her for 1 day. She had to go in, though, so she can sign a paper, dress in her uniform, leave. And then they said, the second day, you are suspended 2 days. The next day was her day off. And I just said, we're going to celebrate this suspension, because everyone makes mistakes. And, the company has to do what they need to do, carry out protocol, punish people or let them know that this is not to be tolerated, right? So she signs a paper and it says something like, if you are shorter more than $5, you would be fired. Well, the other night she was short $10. So she texts me, I think I'm going to be fired. And I wanted, right? So what would a parent do? What would you do? You don't want your child to be fired. You don't want your child to fail. And you don't want your child to experience disappointment. None of us want our kids to be in emotional or physical or mental pain. But in order to grow, in order to flourish, right? In order to learn life lessons, we must let our kids fail. We must let our kids just fall on their face sometimes, but be there. Don't prevent the fall, but be there to encourage them. I'm learning not to say, I told you so, when they decide to go on the wrong path. What should we say? We can say, wow, that was an amazing learning lesson, wasn't it? Yeah, sometimes life just teaches us harsh lessons. Pandemic has taught us, I think there's been blessings. I've been connecting with people from Canada, Australia, United Kingdom, all over the States, and I never would have, right? I try not to watch the news. It is constant negative news, right, when you think about it. Some people say, oh my gosh, but you're not educating yourself on, what's going on. But if it's going to get myself in a negative mindset and operate out of fear, I'd rather operate out of faith. Call me crazy, but I am trying to teach parents and children how to live life so that you don't live life in fear. How do we live life out of faith? And so these are some of the things I've come across. To help ease this pandemic parenting. Depending on what age your child is, if you have an adult child, go easy on like career stress. If they've lost their job, if they're having a hard time raising their kids, your grandkids, is it up to you to teach them how to parent? That's very controversial, right? I'm not a grandparent yet, so I don't know. But go easy on putting more stress on your child. Academic stress, that you can really control. It is hard. Believe me, it is hard, right? When Chelsea, can you imagine? Your child says, oh my gosh, I just totally forgot to sign on today. And I was like, what? When you have one class, she's taking it easy, right? Because she's stressed out, right? Suffering from anxiety. But I had to say, oh, well, sometimes this kind of thing happens. You're not the only one, right? So be more compassionate rather than critical. Not easy to do. But take a pause. Take a breath before responding. Because I tend to react, right? I think it's natural for a parent. You immediately go into I've been told my lecture mom mode or life lesson mode a lot for me. And so I apologize if I ever come off as being a lecturer. I am here to support stressed parents globally. So the other thing, join forces with other parents, right? There are fellow parents that friends, work colleagues, relatives. And, if you can reach out via email, social media, messaging, even texting. I had a mom call me and she was like, Karen, I just cannot let go of these grades, these missing assignments. And sometimes just venting and making fun of it or making each other laugh. Once you start laughing, guess what? The stress level drastically melts away because you are connecting with another parent who's also suffering the same journey or just having, if you're a mom, you're a dad, uncle, aunt, grandparent, you have automatic stress built in regarding kids in your life, right? If you're a teacher, gosh, your kids, my students become my kids. I'm volunteering to pick up and drop off a 6th grader because his mom's working 58 hours the past couple of weeks. And it was once last week, right? Twice this week. I don't have a son. I'm trying to make conversation with this 11-year-old. And I'm thinking, well, what if I drop him off late? What if? And I thought, wait a minute. I have to stop having this negative, fearful, panicking energy because your child or the people around you, they feed off of that. So it's really practicing to center yourself. How do you do that? Deep breathe, guys. 5 minutes of deep breathing, not when you're driving, when you're washing your hands. I'm using the bathroom, when you're walking. Deep breathe, and I was looking at the clouds, looking at the trees. I live in Mililani, and I'm noticing trees I've never even knew existed. But, do that. Join forces with other parents. Go easy on academic stress, life stress, virtual activities. I'm going to share, I did not know, but in April or May, of last year, Chelsea shared that you can watch Netflix in a virtual group. You can play chess. I don't know how she got interested in chess, but she was playing with people in her Leo club. She was on the last trip the Leo Club took to the Big Island. At that time, you could travel with no more than 100. So these 100 kids from, from the neighbor islands went to the Big Island, and she met friends, and they ended up playing chess together virtually. They ended up, doing these, I guess they're kind of like, right, Google Meets, FaceTime. She doesn't have an Apple, so it was just however way they did it. But I was like, wow. And then one time she was cooking something, and she's like, I'll be right back. It was like a 1 minute mug cake. And they're like, oh, we'll wait. And I'm watching her. She's going to the microwave. I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, they want me to show them how my 1 minute mug cake turned out. And I thought, wow, this is my introvert daughter who hardly had friends. And we were talking about it last night. I was like, how has the pandemic changed you? Or, your senior year? And she said, well, I actually had more friends than when I attended school because I did a lot of virtual socializing. Video games, if you have boys who are playing video games, I tutor majority boys and their face lights up when I ask them about Fortnite or the car racing games. I'm so in the dark, but when it comes to video games. But this is their passion. You know what it is though? It is conquering a mission together with their peers when they beat when they beat whatever monster or they win. And sometimes if they're leading the mission, oh my gosh, what a high. And you question why they spend 5 hours doing that, but they can't do 5 hours of distance learning. What would you rather do? Right? So be compassionate. Create routines, really important. Put them on the fridge and dedicate a specific workplace that is clean of clutter. So they have their pencils, they have their erasers, their calculator, their laptop, and their charger. There's so many times, oh my gosh, Miss Karen, sorry, I have 3 minutes on my before my laptop dies. And if the Wi-Fi goes out, it's amazing how if they have computer problems, I have done algebra homework and English via Instagram DMing. Yeah. Talk about, it was my student's ID and it worked. I actually tutored via Instagram. Sometimes if Wi-Fi goes out, I use the phone. So incorporate creative strategies to communicate with your kids. I know a lot of it is texting. Instead of texting, did you do your homework? Come downstairs for dinner. Hey, how was your day? Just want to let you know that I love you. It's uncomfortable if you're not like an I love you kind of person. Emojis. Oh my gosh, I am living off of emojis. When my daughter, you're like, oh my gosh, I just had such a horrible day. Then it's like a sad emoji. Or I'm into sloths now, so it's like a sad crying emoji or a hug emoji. And you got to communicate the way that your kids, grandkids, nieces and nephews communicate. A funny meme, a mini 1 minute video, making them laugh. Sometimes it's a memory, right, that pops up on your Facebook, something that happened 10 years ago that made, the family laugh. Send that. But the goal is to emotionally connect with your kids, especially during the pandemic. We have no idea how much longer we're going to be wearing masks. We have no idea, when is everyone going to be vaccinated? Is that going to help? Or is there's so many what ifs and so many unpredictable, right, moments that we can't even plan for this. You cannot plan pandemic. That's pandemic and parenting together. I just made up a word, pandemic. Are you ready for pandemic? But pandemic parenting, no rules, but go within and your heart will tell you what to say if you put your logic, take your logic out, think with your heart, put yourself in your kids' shoes. Those of you who hated school, can you imagine doing it virtually? You guys, they have to take a picture of the worksheet of the answers, upload it, send it in, then the teacher makes them have corrections. My students who practice band, they have to record themselves playing. Some of them have to answer their math questions. They have to explain it. The reason why the denominator is this way, then you have to send it. The teacher plays this recording sometimes in front of everybody It is major stress. I would not know the stress that kids are going through had I not been tutoring. My virtual tutoring, I resisted for so long, and then the pandemic hit, and I thought, okay, I'll try it. Some of these kids are thriving during one-on-one virtual tutoring. I try to make it fun. We draw on the Zoom whiteboard, but that's what I want to suggest to you as a parent. Make parenting fun and let them know, you know what? I don't know the answers, but I'm here for you. We are going to survive this pandemic parenting journey together. And let me know if I'm doing something wrong. Let me know if I'm adding to your stress, but have an open conversation where you are vulnerable, where you express your fears, but let them know that I know it's scary. I'm scared, but let's unify. I mean, it's kind of like building your tribe, and your tribe does not have to be just you and your child. It's you, your child, the cousins, the parents that you know, your uncles and aunties. I mean, build up a tribe, and that tribe will support you through any challenges, through divorce, right? Through death, through the pandemic, through challenges. Have someone there. And that's why I'm going to announce it now. It's a long time from now, but September 19th will be here before you know it. I'm conducting my first Pandemic Parenting Summit 2021, September 19th. I'm having 15 speakers. I already have someone from the UK, someone from Australia, different parts of Hawaii, Kauai, the Big Island. And what I want to do is really provide a resource and really provide, I'm calling it, it is parent support. But if you are not a parent, you're a grandparent, you're a Hanai parent, you're an uncle and auntie, just someone that wants suggestions, wants tools and strategies on how we can navigate this scary, unpredictable pandemic parenting. I was thinking today, it's like we should have a pandemic parenting party where we, get all dressed up. You know how they're doing virtual proms? Let's have a pandemic parenting party where we gather, we listen, to these speakers that have wonderful advice. I have someone from the UK who actually coaches PTSD, right? Veterans, but I'm thinking all of us parents, we have PTSD from things that happen in high school, or, if you were not a great student, that's PTSD because you want your kids to be really good because you want them to, master academics or get the most of it, right? I have parents who never graduated from college. Oh my gosh, a college degree is this like golden treasure. And then their kids are like, you don't really need a degree now. And they're right. But I'm not against it, but it's not a mandatory, you must go to college, right? The old style guys where you get a college degree so you can get a good job, so you can get a house, so you can get a major success. We all know that's not true. There are Ivy League graduates who have been fired from their CEO position. They have lost their homes. They have lost, to them, everything, right? The pandemic has taught us that we cannot find external happiness, right? We cannot find happiness through external things, whether it's a job, a relationship, a fill in the blank. Because if your relationship ends, you lose your job, right? You lose your home. What do you have? How are you teaching your kids to prepare for this pandemic future where there are no guarantees? Mental health, right, issues are on the rise. We have higher suicide rates than ever from kids. Kids are taking their lives. And why? Why are they stressed? Why are they feeling hopeless? And why are they ending their lives? They see no hope. And as a parent, I'm really imploring that we need to let go of the academic stress that we put on our kids. When you find yourself binge watching a show, your kids are binge video gaming, right? And to them, it lifts their heart up. Right now, it is not going to kill their brain cells. I know I always say that. You don't want a mushy brain. You don't want to kill your brain cells. But I am going to, help kids and parents practice your gratitude list. I fell off the wagon. 3 things that you are grateful for every single day. Do this one thing and implement it for just 30 days. Have everyone in your family. If they don't want to share it, write it. If they want to write it, at least say it. It could be something as, oh, we had sunny weather today. Oh my gosh. And when I watched this YouTube video, it made me laugh. Or I conquered my mission during Fortnite or whatever video game. Or I connected with someone. I had no homework today. Whatever it is. And find the blessing in it. You know, Mom, I failed my exam. Well, good for you. Because you know what? What did we learn? We're embracing failure. Failure does not define your value as a human being. Losing your job does not define your value as a human being. I just tell my daughter, being suspended, being told that you're fill in the blank, right? Some critical comment that her boss told her does not define her. But of course you cry. Of course you feel like a failure. I've been feeling like a failure as a parent. And I'm like, wait a minute. Do I end my parent coaching journey? And then I have really good cheerleaders on my side who remind me that I am relatable. I'm sharing my vulnerable failures, I guess you can say, as a parent. So be understanding, give extra hugs, extra love. And I'm going to repeat this. Go easy on academics. Go easy on your child staying up till 2 a.m. We are all on survival mode. I really believe in routines though, and it really does help to have a, proper bedtime. I have someone, his phone shuts off. He can only have an hour of texting time. He, of course, is in 6th grade. But have a talk with them, If there is a problem and there is a video game addiction, talk about it. Because like with anything, right, there can be a dysfunctional addiction that needs to be addressed. So I'm not saying, let your kid play 6 hours of continuous video games. My daughter was probably watching more than, 12 hours of TV yesterday. But I'm going to close with this. When I was 19, I went through a really severe depression for at least 1.5 years. My dad did not tell me to get a job. He did not tell me to go to school. I think I've shared this before, but I registered for UH, and then the night before, I said, Daddy, I'm not going. And he's like, why? I said, I don't want the pressure, and I just don't want to do it. Till this day, I don't know if you got a refund, but I proceeded to do nothing. I did my household chores, vacuum, clean the washed rice, did all that, the house stuff, but I decided I'm going to just watch TV and sleep and read romance novels for 1.5 years. That's what I did. I slept till, I slept sometimes 3, 4 in the morning, watched all these, Leave It to Beaver, The Ghost of Mrs. Muir, these black and white, really old shows. Woke up at 1 or 2 in the afternoon. I'm doing what a lot of the kids are doing. And then lately I'm finding myself saying, you got to be productive. You are off for 4 days. Yes, you go to school 2 of those days. You work 3 days, but don't make something out of your life. And I thought, you know what? What if this is her way of just handling the pandemic stress? Who am I to say you're only taking 1 class, right? She failed last semester, cried about it, felt like a failure, felt like she lost money. And I thought some of the greatest lessons we learn are sometimes like our lawsuit from my mother-in-law, $70,000 life lesson. We survived it. We lost Thomas's childhood home, but we survived it. And I learned that you can still come out of anything more resilient, right? It does not define you. Whatever struggle you're going through, do not let it define you. So I'm sorry if I sounded like this preacher, but thanks, John, for staying on and watching this. Message me or comment and say what you think about it. This pandemic parenting is insane, isn't it? So I am going to plug my book. It is, I know it's backwards, 100 Parenting Tips Inspired by the Pandemic. Focus on the right things. That's parenting tip number 41. Praise your kids for their hard work instead of labeling them as smart. Ooh, I like this one. I'm going to end with this. Teach your child the importance of practicing flexibility, but as parents, we need to practice flexibility. There is no right or wrong with pandemic parenting, but there are certain things we should stop doing, according to my own opinion. Stop stressing over academics and adding to your child's stress, right? Join forces with other parents. Don't do it alone. You guys are not alone. And don't live in fear. Practice faith. Last one is be honest about your overwhelm. Share your vulnerability with your kids. It'll give them, it's like a breath of fresh air, because they'll think, oh, you mean I don't have to be strong? Oh, you're scared too? But practice being vulnerable, yet letting them know. Oh, wow. Thanks, Chris. It's my friend, Chris Valdez, who's an amazing photographer. You guys got to follow him on, oh my gosh, Chris, can you let me know what the Facebook group is? I'm not Facebook group, your pictures. Just follow Christopher Valdez. He has amazing nature photos, sunsets, roots. You don't know the importance of tree roots. It symbolizes the foundation to me. Roots are all the way down, right? Us as parents need to trust that the roots that we planted, which means we give birth to this child, even though you guys are dads, you are responsible for growing this tree. Trust in your child's journey. I'm going to end there. Trust in your child's journey and know that you are doing an amazing job no matter what your child is doing. If he's cutting class, if he's waking up late, if he's addicted to video games, guess what? You still are doing an amazing job. You didn't leave, right? You're there. That's all that matters. But thank you guys for watching. I'm off to build brains, and join me next week. I'll be doing, I don't know. I come up with these topics like the day before sometimes. But if you have a topic that you want me to talk about regarding parenting, let me know, because I encourage ideas. And keep in mind, September 19th, I am going to do a global parenting pandemic summit. There you go. Thanks, Chris. Follow Hawaiian Sunsets and Landscape Photography on Facebook. I'll say it one more time. Hawaiian Sunsets and Landscape Photography. His photos will make you smile, will melt stress away, and share them, because we can all use an amazing sunset or a view of the ocean, right? Amazing. Okay, thanks, guys. Thanks, John and Chris, for staying on and just popping in. Bye.